Yo, welcome back to the Real Kens TV. We're in the house once again like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the story. Feel free to comment, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that post notification so anytime I come with this heat, you know what I'm saying, you're amongst the first to receive it. I want to talk about McCracken. That was his name. I typically don't say names on here, but today I'm going to say his name, McCracken. He was a correction officer in our county jail. Nasty, man. Real nasty, spirited person, man. He just walked around like he was just miserable. Like he really didn't have a life. They kept McCracken in the assessment center the majority of the times because they couldn't keep him in a regular unit. You know what I'm saying? Either he was getting whooped, threatened, cussed out, you know, just anything you can possibly imagine. So they try to keep McCracken out of the actual units and keep him in the assessment center. Now, what the assessment center is, for you all that never been to jail, and that's a great thing, don't ever go. Basically, they bring you in and they house you in the assessment center. You may be in the assessment center for 2, 3, 4 days, just depends, you know, on how full the jail is. So when you're in the assessment center, you're in an individual cell. They have like 4, I want to say maybe 4 units downstairs, and then you'll have 4 units upstairs. So when I say units, I'm more so talking about like a walkway. So you're in an individual cell, but when you come out of your individual cell, you're in like a day room, and that's where the bathroom's at, or the showers rather, a television, some tables. You know, you can congregate amongst the other inmates. But at night or during certain times of the day, they lock you in your cell and you can't come out. Well, McCracken was notoriously known for keeping the inmates locked in their cell because technically it's the officer's discretion. They don't have to let you out. Just most of them, you know, most officers have a heart. They're going to let you out. You're not bothering anybody. You know what I'm saying? You're within that walkway, but you're still behind glass. So like the officer can see everything that's going on because it's glass, but he can't necessarily hear anything because you're still locked in. I know it may be kind of hard to explain, but that's just what it is. So a lot of officers, man, they'll let you out of your cell. You'll just be kicking it, you know, like I said, watching TV, whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying, within reason. McCracken would keep you locked in your cell, wouldn't turn the televisions on. So if you're locked in your cell, you can't use the phone or anything like that. People hated McCracken's guts. You know what I'm saying? So one day, a dude I grew up with, man, he's since passed away, man. R.I.P. to him. He goes to court. And when he goes to court, they lower his bond. See, in Kentucky, the bond is even messed up because in most states that I know of, whenever you get a bond, it's automatically 10% of that. So you get a $10,000 bond, okay, you know that your bond is going to be $1,000. See what I'm saying? 10% of whatever the judge says your bond is. In Kentucky, it's not like that. You have to go to court and damn near beg to get 10%. So if you got a $10,000 bond, that's your bond. Now, when you go to court, you know, you can ask your lawyer or whatever to lower your bond. But if the judge doesn't lower your bond, that's just what it's going to be. It's real messed up. So, you know, the guy that I'm talking about, he went to court. The judge lowered his bond, but he had to have somebody come and sign him out. It was like, basically they gave him, it's called third party here. So for $4, someone can come and bond you out. It just makes them responsible for you. So if you don't come back to court, then they're held liable. So he goes to court, he's talking to the judge, and he tells the judge, he said, Your Honor, the guy that's working, the correction officer that's working our unit, man, he's a real disrespectful type of guy, man. He doesn't like inmates, evidently, and he keeps us locked in our cell, so I'm going to need to be able to get out of the cell to make a phone call. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to alert my family that I need somebody to come and sign me out for $4. So the judge made a note of it, you know, inmate is to be able to make a phone call, put it in the system or what have you. So, he gets back to the unit. He's happy. You know what I'm saying? He think everything is cool. He has to go back to his cell. So he's sitting in his cell for a while because, he told McCracken, hey, McCracken, they lowered my bond, man. Can I use the phone? So McCracken was just basically like, get back to your cell. I'll let you out in a little bit. So dude's like, all right, goes back to his cell. He's sitting in there maybe, I don't know, an hour. He falls asleep. He wakes up. It's maybe about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour later. He hits the intercom because there's intercoms in the cells. Hey, yo, McCracken, man, you still gonna let me use the phone, man? I need to call my people. McCracken's like, I'm doing my paperwork right now. Hold on. So I say another hour goes past. Now at this point, it's almost shift change. They change shifts at, I want to say 4 o'clock. It's been a long time, but I want to say 3:30, 4 o'clock. So once the next shift comes in, it's really gonna be hard to get out of your cell and use the phone because they're coming in, getting everything ready for their shift. Dinner will be there soon. So, getting the trustees and everything in order. So it's really difficult to get out of your cell once, when they change shifts. So he asked McCracken again. McCracken's like, I told you, don't ask me again. And if you do, you're never getting out to use the phone. So he's telling McCracken, listen, man, the judge said that I'm to be, granted a phone call. I've been here 3 hours, man, and you keep telling me that, you're going to let me out, but it's been 3 hours, man. I just need to get out and make a quick phone call. McCracken turns the intercom off. That's what them COs do when they trying to be smart. And they don't want to talk to you no more. They turn the intercom off. So, dude, man, he starts going off. He's kicking the door. He's going crazy, man. McCracken's just ignoring him. So McCracken ends up leaving for his, for the day or whatever. The shift change comes. So when the shift change comes, he has to wait till they get everything together. I think it ended up being a cool CO, so they let him out to use the phone. So he ended up having to wait like a whole probably 5 hours before he was able to call his people and tell them, hey, man, somebody come sign me out for $4. So he ends up getting out. When he gets out, he stays out maybe, I don't know, maybe about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He comes back in. It's something minor. It's like a fine payment. It's something like that. So when he comes back in, he has to come back through the assessment center again. Well, I'm in the assessment center because I was working in a trustee unit. So, a lot of times they would rotate us, but I was a regular in the assessment center. I hated working the assessment center. It was cool except for when McCracken was in there, and he was in there, about half the time. But nevertheless, dude comes back in. He sees McCracken. So, they kind of going at it, having words or whatever. McCracken, he's a real jerk. He's a real sarcastic type guy. So he don't really say much, you know what I mean? So, dude gets out. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm sorry. It wasn't a fine payment. The feds had picked this case up, and he had to turn himself back in. And he went on and turned himself back in. That's what it was. That's why he came back in a couple weeks. So, at any rate, he's telling McCracken, yeah, I ain't forget about what you did last time. Kept me locked in the cell, whatever. So McCracken's like, yeah, real tough guy. You're not going to do anything. I hear it all day, every day. So dude's like, okay, all right. Wait till we come out and get our lunch. Because when they let you out, like when they serve the trays, they have to let you out. You know what I'm saying? So dude comes out. McCracken's sitting in the control booth. He got his head turned. In the county jail, man, they got those real thick trays about this thick. Thick. They really could be used as a weapon, to be honest, man. You get hit with one of them trays, man, you subject to go to sleep, man. If you get hit hard enough, man, you subject to go into cardiac arrest. I'm not playing, man. So McCracken's sitting in the cell, or sitting in the control booth, rather. Dude walks up behind McCracken. McCracken never even seen him coming. Took that tray, bow, bashed him in the back of his head. Now McCracken was a bald-headed dude anyway, you know what I'm saying? A little short dude. He was probably about he wasn't too short, maybe about 5'8", weighed about 220. So he was kind of a roly-poly a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So if you can kind of imagine, he was bald head. Smacked him in the back of his head, man, with that tray. Bow! I told you I was going to get you, didn't I, bitch? Bow! Smacked him again with the tray. Hit him about 2 or 3 times, man. And, you know, McCracken hurry up and hit his panic button because, fortunately for him, he wasn't unconscious. And fortunately for McCracken as well, dude had a heart because he could have just kept beating him. Hit him about 2 or 3 times, man, and let up off of him. Of course, the goon squad, that's what you call them, they all came in and tackled dude and roughed him up, man. Took him to the hole and, you know, whatever they did. I think they hit him with an outside charge, but dude didn't care. The feds just picked his case up, you know what I'm saying? So he felt like, shoot, what they gonna do to me? But that's just an example of some of these overzealous, cocky, punk-ass COs that work in these jails and in these prisons, man. They know that the administration is going to ride with them, so they come in there, you know, they act like they so tough. Now, some of them are not like that. So I'm not speaking about all correction officers, but a lot of them are. And some of them COs is tough, man. You know what I'm saying? There was one CO that worked in there that was an actual MMA fighter, man. And they would send him in on you when you didn't want to act right and you didn't want to see him, man. He was an actual MMA fighter. He was just getting started, but he had just turned pro. But, you know, and he was real cool, man. But a lot of them COs, man, they just be jerks, man. That's why I have a disdain for them. They just be jerks just because they can. And I know a lot of people be like, well, don't go to jail. Don't. That's true. But at the same time, man, that doesn't give you a reason to treat anybody any type of way simply because you feel like you have the power and that you can. Because these guys see you out on the streets in the community, man, with your kids, with your wife, with your family, with your, you know, whoever you may be with. And they're going to remember how you treated them in jail. Ain't no administration out here on the streets. I don't recommend doing anything to anybody, but I'm just saying, man. It's type of things that you deal with, you know, when you treat people like jerks, man. I done seen an ex-CO get stomped out. He ain't mad at me because I ain't help him. I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. You was a jerk while you was in there, man. Dudes remembered that. And I'm going to tell that story soon. But nevertheless, he beat McCracken pretty bad, man. Busted him up. I think he kicked him a couple times, you know what I'm saying, because he had a black eye or whatever. Because I remember when he came back to work, everybody was laughing. You know, had a big old patch on the back of his head, and then he had a black eye. Then, like I said, I don't advocate violence. I don't suggest violence. I'm not a violent person whatsoever. But at the same time, man, you can't just treat people any type of way and just think you're going to continuously get away with it because you got that little punk-ass blue suit on, man, and your little panic button right here on your shoulder. It's a panic, you know, it's a walkie-talkie, but we call it the panic button. Now, McCracken acted so tough. I always had something sarcastic to say. He acted so tough. Keep you locked down, like I said, wouldn't let you out, wouldn't turn the TVs on for you, nothing. Just trying to make your time hard. Wasn't going to hurt him whatsoever. And McCracken got his noodle pushed all the way backwards. And guess what? He deserved it. People was laughing and cheering and all types of. You thought we was at a football game or something. Basketball game. Yeah. And I'm sure some of y'all watching this can relate, man. Because if you've been to jail, it's a million McCrackens out there. See what I'm saying? Hopefully McCracken learned something from that day, but I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? He probably still the same old McCracken, man. Don't make no sense, man. Guy gets to go home every day, but you come to jail. It's your job, you getting paid, and you try to make everybody's life more miserable, even more miserable than it already is being locked up. Real Kens TV, hopefully you enjoyed the video. It was informative. Feel free to comment. Definitely like. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that post notification like I was saying, man. Anytime I, bring you some of these hot stories, man, get amongst the first to receive it. Real Kens TV, man. Small channel, we trying to grow. If you don't hit that post notification, you ain't gonna know that, I'm dropping these videos. You ain't gonna be able to see them.